News Network, and we are back with a brand new episode of Rising Crime. We have been following the mysterious death of Mica Miller, the pastor's wife out of North Carolina. Her husband, J.P. Miller, is the owner and head of the Solid Rock Church there in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. On April 27th, though, his wife, who was estranged from him at the time, after serving him 2 days prior with divorce papers and being involved in an investigation into fraud charges that he was coming up on, she was found dead in the Lumber River Park in North Carolina. It is suspected that she made a 911 call, alerting authorities to know where she was, so the family could find her body. But it's all very, very suspicious, and the internet, including us, does not believe that this is a simple case of suicide. We believe that there is foul play. Thank you, baby. In this, you too. We believe that there is foul play in this, and we just want to bring light to this. Now, Law and Crime has been covering this as well as so many others. There's a YouTuber and a Facebook TikToker named Kyler Marlowe who is covering this. The Robbie Harvey has been covering this, as well as us. And Jesse over at Law and Crime has been interviewing several family members and people attached to this. We played for you the other day the interview that he did with her father and her sister. But today we are bringing a new interview that he has with her best friend and attorney. So that's what we're going to do now. We'll play that for you, and then we'll be back with some thoughts.
Followed. Her car's just out here.
Now, we had a chance to speak with one of Mica Miller's best friends, Charlotte Korn. Let's hear what she had to say. Charlotte, thank you so much for coming here on Sidebar. First, before we even get started, I know how close you and Mica were. I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm so sorry for what you're going through right now. And I'm sure it can't be easy, this story being, amplified and discussed in the media so much. But I just want you to know that I'm really sorry for everything you're going through.
Thank you very much. It means a lot.
And I want to actually start. You were kind enough to send us several different screenshots of text messages that I think are important in the story. And I want to start with one that Mica had sent to you just weeks before she died. And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe this was maybe your last communication with her. But in the message, it's dated April 5th, Mica writes you, "Thank you for your gentle warnings throughout the years regarding my relationship with JP. I know that you knew I wasn't ready to get out, but looking back, your warnings were very helpful when trying to make tough life decisions. Definitely have replayed our convos in my head over and over throughout the years and wished there was something I could do to get out. And now I've done it," with a smiley face emoji. And then later on, she writes, "Yes, things are looking up and are headed in a great direction." What do you make of that?
I mean, they were. She had a new purpose in life. She had done a mission trip earlier that year, and it really sparked a heart for missions for her. And she had plans to go back and really had a new desire to become a missionary. She was working at a new job that she was loving. She'd finally taken legal moves, to end her previous chapter and start a new one. So things were looking up.
What do you think the misconception is about Mica right now in the story? What do you want? How do you want to correct the record?
Well, the narrative that's been pushed about her for so long, that she was just basically a mental person and having all kinds of psychotic breaks, and that she needed this medicine that she didn't have or wasn't taking. That just simply was not true. She was prescribed medicine, and she had been taking medicine, but yeah, she was starting to question if she even needed it, just because of the cause that, or the reason that she was diagnosed in the first place was a little odd. But also, she told me about a month before her death that she was taking her medication in front of her roommate, so that she would have a witness to the contrary of this narrative that she's just off of her meds and having a psychotic break.
And she never indicated to you that she ever wanted to harm herself?
No, never.
So as I mentioned, you sent us a number of text messages, and I want to read one. This is from J.P. Miller. This is on April 28th at 6:28 a.m. And it says, I thought you two should know Mica killed herself earlier today. She needed her lithium because she has been having a 3-month psychotic episode. I'll keep you posted on funeral. What was your reaction to that?
I was just thankful that I had found out around 2 a.m. that morning from anybody else but him, and in that way. But of course, my first thoughts were, this is the text from the grieving husband telling her best friend. Just, yeah.
How many people did he send that to?
Who knows, honestly? I mean, we got that at 6:30 in the morning, and
When you say we, it was you, and who else got that?
my husband, he sent it to both of us.
Okay. There's another message that you sent us from John Paul Miller, and it's in a group of people. And if you could explain to us who all the people are in this group, but this is what the message appears to show from John Paul. This is what happens when you try to encourage someone to divorce the person they love and tell them they don't need medicine and that they're not ill when they are. Good job, Francis family. So who was he writing that to, and what was that about?
So that was the night of her death at around 10:30 at night. They had found out within a few hours of that message, and that was the text that he decided to send them. At 2 a.m., when I found out from another friend, I was just in total disbelief and thought there was just some terrible misunderstanding. So I immediately called her sisters, and they were all together and confirmed everything. But they sent me that message. They said, "This is how JP is handling it with our family."
What was he referring to? Was there an encouragement of Mica to leave him? What was that dynamic? Why would he write something like that, you think?
I mean, her siblings did always, I mean, they didn't have the greatest relationship with him, simply because they'd seen this history from the time she was 15 and met him, and then how their relationship developed. So they were never true JP fans, if you will. But his narrative about encouraging her not to take her medication, they never did that. I've seen texts where Mica would text saying, "I'd like to get off my medication, and I'm letting you know so that you can kind of monitor and check in on me." And the sisters' texts are saying, maybe you should do this in a kind of controlled way with better supervision. And so they did not encourage her to just stop taking her medication. Now, they did question whether she was correctly diagnosed and if she needed the medication, but they were not pushing her to just stop taking it.
You also sent us, and again, correct me if I have the date wrong, these are text messages between Mica, John Paul Miller, and you from November 16th, 2022. I'm going to read some of them, and then let's talk about it if we can. So the message appears to show John Paul Miller writing, "I would leave anyone or anything for you. I'm only asking for the same respect. You can't treat someone like S and then leave. You're supposed to work it out, stay, and do whatever it takes. Please don't be selfish this one time. I'm literally begging you to do the right thing, the godly thing." And then he goes on to say, "I need you. I want you." And I don't want to sleep alone ever. Okay, so Charlotte, there are a lot of these messages. What exactly was he talking about here? What was going on?
Well, at the time that the messages were coming in, I did not know at all. I found out later that they had had a fight. Micah referenced something that morning. I had texted her to see if she wanted to hang out before we left for our Thanksgiving travels. And she said, I'm actually headed up to visit with my sister. Things are not good in the Miller household right now. And again, I didn't know what was going on. But when he started texting those, again, I was totally in the dark. And having found out later what what happened, it was pretty ridiculous, actually. I don't know the full scope of what happened, but I know what started it. The question that kind of kicked into them having an argument was, he asked her, if you could kiss a girl, who would it be? And she said, of course, I wouldn't kiss a girl. That's a ridiculous question. I'm not going to answer that. But he kept harping on it and harping on it. And finally she said, fine, I guess if I had to kiss a girl, it'd be Charlotte. But he did not like that answer because we were very good friends, obviously, and we were spending a lot of time together. And we talked all the time, and so that just kind of made the switch flip. And he started asking, "Well, what kind of feelings do you have for Charlotte? And have y'all kissed?" And that was the conversation that led into, I think, a greater conversation, which I still don't have the full information on, but that was what kicked off this big blow up and why I was included in it.
Yeah, she writes, why are you being crazy? I just wanted to visit my sister. Why? Have you confronted John Paul about any of this? I mean, what did you say during the course of these messages? I'm trying to understand your relationship with him and what you observed with him, and how you responded to all of this.
Yes, I had a direct message going with him, and I probably 5, 6, 7 times wrote to him, John Paul, stop messaging her. I don't know what's going on with you guys right now, but you are making this so much worse. Please stop messaging her. And I just kept telling him, which goes to show my reason for being in the message was totally not for accountability like he so claimed.
And there's another message, if you can provide context. It's from John Paul. Will please ask your wife to stop texting me things when she has no effing clue what has happened or is happening. She has sent wisdom out of her mouth about how she would do what Mica did, blah, blah, blah. And it goes on. What is this about?
It was at the end of the night, around 1 o'clock in the morning, and Mica was concerned that he truly was driving up there to get her back.
When was this time frame wise?
It was the early hours of the 17th, around probably 1 o'clock in the morning.
April 17th?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. November 17th.
November, sorry. Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay.
And of 2022,
okay.
I should say. But he had stopped responding to the messages that she was in with her sister. He'd stopped responding to the message that we were in together. And then when he stopped responding, Mica was obviously very concerned. And she said he'd turned off his location services, so she didn't know where he was. And she was asking me what to do. And I said, honestly, Mica, I would call the police and have him do a wellness check just to make sure he's there. And she did. And once he finally started writing back, his direct message to me, because I said, Jit, if you don't write us back soon, I'm going to come over there. Which I would not have, but he finally wrote back and he said, and I'll just let you fill in the blanks here, but effing B tried to get me arrested. And I said, John Paul, she wanted to do a wellness check. With everything that you're saying, I would have done the same thing. And me saying that is what sparked his message to my husband and myself about, stop texting me, you have no effing clue. because I said I would have done the same thing.
What was your one-on-one with him like? There's one thing with the messages, but your experiences with him over the years and observing what you did between him and Mica, what can you tell us about that?
Well, JP and I did not have any kind of one-on-one relationship, we always did things as a couple, or I might join them for dinner or something. But my husband and I were good friends with them for the years leading up and up to this fight. But we had been good friends.
And your relationship with Mica, she seemed like a wonderful person. You sent us all these wonderful photographs of you guys together. Talk to us about her, what she was like.
Oh, man. She was just such a true kindred spirit. I think everybody that met her probably would say that about her. She was funny. She made you feel funny. She had a laugh that was just one in a million. She was so helpful to everybody. She busied her days by helping people. And she was just one of those truly godly women that just has such a beautiful, pure soul that you were lucky to meet and even luckier to be considered a friend.
And Charlotte, before I let you go, what are you hoping happens next in this whole saga, this whole story?
I'm hoping that Micah's story will help others that might be in a similar situation or dealing with abuse. And I'm hoping that we get some answers for some of the inconsistencies that were surrounding that day. And overall, just justice for Mica.
Charlotte, thank you so much for coming on, sharing your experiences, sharing these messages, more context with us. Again, so sorry for your loss. So sorry for your experience in all this, but really appreciate you taking the time and coming here on Sidebar. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So there you have it, folks. That's straight from her best friend, her divorce attorney. There was a long history of issues with JP. He involved people that should never be involved. He sent inappropriate messages to these people. He messaged her family inappropriately. He messaged her friends inappropriately before and after her death. This is not a man that should be leading a congregation. And originally, the church came out and said that they had relieved him of all ministerial duties, and now they have backtracked after announcing that they are going to go ahead with their $5 million building expansion. But they now are saying that he is just taking a break. He's going to get some counseling and grieve and all those things, and then they will bring him back. Um, that is not what they originally stated, and it is very concerning to the public that this church would continue to support a man that, regardless of the circumstances of his wife's death, is not appropriate to be a pastor leading a flock of anything. So we will continue to keep updating on the Mica Miller case as it unfolds. Thank you for tuning in and dishing true crime with the Good Wives. You can follow us on all of the social medias at Good Wives Net. You can join our Patreon membership club to get inside information, documents, and miniature episodes, and some amazing Good Wives merch. Head on over to thegoodwivesnetwork.com where you can buy our merchandise, order our brand new book coming out, the companion to The Good Wives Guide to True Crime Season 1, all about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. We will be putting all kinds of new information into that. We will be updating the book about the chromosome disorder and all of the different uncoveries that we have made in just this last year with this case. Um, Beyond that, you can follow us on all of our social medias at Good Wives Net. You can catch me over on TikTok at Spicy Red 92. You can find my co-host Sarah at Sadie Beth 1, and Colleen can be found at C McShane 12. We also have a brand new Good Wives Network official TikTok. It's Good Wives Net 2. So have a good one from the Good Wives, serving up true crime, one dish at a time. Bye, guys.